This is the story of every UPSC aspirant. Where to start from? Which subject should I start with? Which books do I refer? How do I analyze previous year questions? Which option should I opt for? Does everyone need a guiding hand? Do you need coaching? Do I need coaching? How should I start my preparation? Do you feel lost in all these questions? Come join Yes UPSC family and let us guide you through this preparation to become an IAS and not just an aspirant. Yes UPSC, guiding you to success. Hello everyone, today we will discuss what is UPSC Civil Services Examinations, what type of services are offered in this examination, what is the pattern, eligibility and stages of this examination, what is the syllabus and what type of questions do we get in this examination. For that, let's start with what is UPSC. UPSC is the premier central recruiting agency for the central government public servants. That is, they appoint the public servants for the central government. It is responsible for the appointment to and examinations of Group A and Group 3 services under Civil Services cadre and the Defence Services cadre for central government, while Department of Personnel and Training is a central personnel agency in India. Correct? The agency's charter is granted by the Part 14 of the Constitution of India, titled as Services under the Union and the State. The Commission is mandated by the Constitution for appointments to the services of Union and all states. Being a constitutional authority, UPSC is amongst the few institutions which functions with both autonomy and freedom, along with the country's higher judiciary and lately the Election Commission. It was established on 1st October 1926 as Public Service Commission. It was later reconstituted as Federal Public Service Commission by the Government of India Act 1935. This is a very old organization, only to be renamed as Union Public Services Commission after the independence. Earlier it was Federal Public Service Commission, now it is called Union Public Service Commission. So now let's come to what type of services are there. There is Group 1 services, then there are Group 2B services and then Central Services and Civil Services examination. Let's have a closer look. What are All India services? Indian Administrative Services, which we call as IAS, is an all India service. Then Indian Foreign Service and Indian Police Service, that is IFS and IPS, are also all India services. What are the Group A services which are offered by this exam? Indian Revenue Service, Indian Post and Telegraph Account and Finance Service, Indian Customs and Central Excise Service, Indian Audit and Account Service, Indian Ordnance Factories Service, Indian Defence Account Service, Indian Postal Service, Indian Defence Estate Service, Indian Civil Account Service, Indian Railway Account Service, Indian Railway Traffic Service, Indian Railway Personnel Service, Railway Protection Force and Central Industrial Security Force. So all these are the Group A services. So now let's see what are the Group B services. These are the Delhi and Andaman and Nicobar Island Civil Service, Delhi and Andaman and Nicobar Island Police Service, then Central Secretarial Service, Armed Forces Headquarters Civil Service, Railway Broad Secretariat Service and Custom Appraiser Service, then Pondicherry Civil Service. So now let's see what is the age eligibility criteria for this examination. For general category, maximum age is 32 and number of attempt is 6. That is, till your age is 32, you can give 6 attempts. For OBC, the maximum age is 35 and number of attempts is 9. There is a relaxation of 3 attempts and 3 years of age. Then comes the SC/ST. The maximum age is 37, 2 more years relaxation, in total 5 years relaxation, and number of attempts till age limit, that is till 37, as many attempts as you want you can give. Obviously, the exam is conducted once a year, so 1 attempt a year will be there. Then comes to PWD, that is maximum age is 42 and till the age limit you can give number of attempts as many as you want, as similar in the case of SC/ST. Now let's see what is the educational qualification required for this examination. The candidate must hold a degree, that is he should or she should be a graduate and it should be recognized by the government, the university, and the minimum age should be 21 years. You cannot give the exam if you are 20, 19, 18 or whatsoever. You should be above 21. Attempts we have already discussed like before in the earlier slide. Now comes the nationality. He or she must be a citizen of India, a person of Indian origin or subject to Nepal, Bhutan, Tibetan, settled in India before 1st January 1962. That is, if you belong to these three countries, you should be settled in India before 1st January 1962. Let's move further and see the stages of this examination. When the notification comes and you apply, the first phase is your preliminary examination, the objective type paper you give. And then if you clear this, you move on to the mains examination, the subjective kind of papers you give. And then when you clear mains examination, you move on to interview. That is, you are called for interview. So let's see the exam pattern. When you are giving the prelims, it is a one day exam. That is, there will be two papers, that one will be general studies and other will be CSAT, and both are MCQ type, and in one day you will have two papers with a little break in between. You clear this stage and you reach to mains. It is a 5-day process. It's a very hectic process. In that, you will give 9 papers in total, which will be 2 qualifying papers, 1 essay paper, 4 GS paper, that is general studies paper, 2 optional papers. Optional is a subject you will choose as per your choice. Do you want to take mathematics as your optional, geography, history, polity, whatever optional you want to take, you have to give 2 papers of that. And this stage is descriptive type. That is, you will have to write the answer. It will not be MCQ. So here there is the difference, that this is MCQ and this is descriptive. So let's assume that you have cleared the mains and you reach the stage interview. The final day has come when you will be selected or rejected on the basis of the interview you give. So it is 1-day process. You will be called for interview. You will be sitting in front of a board who will be taking your interview. So this is of 270 marks. So it's a huge amount of marks. It is very important. So if you clear the interview, there is a merit list prepared, and on the basis of merit list, which is based on the total marks of mains and interview. Prelims is just a qualifying criteria. It is not counted in the merit. Only the mains and interview will be counted, and the total marks are 2025. And you clear the cutoff and you become a civil servant from a civil service aspirant. This whole process takes around 10 months, excluding your preparation time. This is that time the process will take. Once you have prepared, then you will give prelims, mains, interview, and you'll succeed if you clear the merit. So this takes approximately 10 months. Let's come to general studies paper 1 of your prelims. In prelims, the paper 1, which is general studies paper 1, the syllabus will comprise of the current affairs, history of India, India and world geography, Indian polity and governments, Indian economy, science and technology, environment and ecology, international relations. All these topics will be very, very important because the main paper will be from this syllabus only. Let's see the pattern of the paper. The paper 1 is MCQ type, as I have told you earlier. It will be of 200 marks and 100 questions. That is 2 marks for 1 questions. It will be in Hindi and English both. For the students opting to write in Hindi, will be given the question paper in Hindi, and the one with English will read the question paper in English. And it will be a 2 hours examination. Let's move further and see subject-wise number of questions which come in this examination. So see the breakup of current affairs. Here let's see. Let's go from 2020. There were 18 questions out of 100 which were from current affairs. In 19, there were 22. In 18, 14. Then in 17, 15. Then 2016, 27. 2015, 22. 14, 8. 13, there was 0 question. No question based on current affair. In 2012, 1. And 2011, 13. So you can see that the current affair questions vary from 0 to 27. It can be as huge as 27 and as low as 0. So civil services examination is very unpredictable. See, you makes your paper very unpredictable, that you cannot leave any topic. Sometimes one subject comes with a very large number of questions and the other subject is ignored, like anything by UPSC. So it's very important to study all the subjects because you never know which subject is going to appear more this year or the next year. Let's see history. The maximum number of questions the history has got is 22, which was in 2018. And the minimum number of questions is 11, that was in 2011. So again, minimum 10 questions you will get from history. So it is again important, that is a 20 marks, and 20 marks is very, very huge amount in civil services. Now let's come to geography. Geography, you can see there was minimum 7 questions and maximum you have got 18 questions out of it. So this subject also varies from 8 to 20 questions in this examination. Again, very important. Then let's come to polity. From 7 to you get questions till 22. Again, a very huge portion out of it like current affairs. So polity, why polity has such a large extent? Because the polity is related to news, your governance, your economy, etc. This is not just a subject, this is correlated to other subjects also. Now let's come to economy, which is very, very important part again after current affairs, because the number of questions from 10 reaches till 19. Again, approximately 20 questions, 10 to 20 questions from economy. So it is very important. Then comes the science and technology. This subject varies a little bit. It's the choice of UPSC. Sometimes it has, this section has a very large number of questions for like from 19 20 questions. At sometimes UPSC reduces the number of questions and it reduces to 7. So, but you cannot miss, and generally they are based on the current affairs, that is the recent developments in science and technology. So major portion will be covered if you study your current affairs thoroughly. Then comes the environment. These days, as environmental issues are a great concern, so UPSC increasing the questions. So from 10 to 18 questions, again, this may vary, are from environment. So this was a subject-wise number of questions which will appear in prelims examination, and you can see from this table that you cannot predict which subject will come more and which will be less. So it is equally important to give importance to each and every subject. So you cannot ignore one subject, that I don't like history, I will not study history. No, you may get 22 questions in one paper and that will be a very huge loss if you don't study history. Similarly for all other subjects. Let's move on and see what is CSAT. That is the paper 2 of general studies. It is basically an aptitude test, general ability test it is. It includes the syllabus, comprehension, interpersonal skills including communication skills, logical reasoning and analytical ability, decision making and problem solving, general mental ability, basic numeracy, data interpretation, English language comprehension skills. This is a very basic paper, class 12th level paper it is. So now we saw that the paper 1 has 800 questions, but this paper has only 80 questions. It is again 200 marks, MCQ type, 2 hours, Hindi, English, both question paper available. This is again a qualifying paper, and if you don't clear paper 2, your paper 1 will not be checked. So moving further, let's see what is the mains exam of UPSC looks like. So paper A is your compulsory Indian language paper. You have to choose one Indian language and the paper will be of 3 hours, 300 marks. Paper B is English. It is compulsory for everybody. 3 hours, 300 marks. Then paper 1 is your essay. All the papers are 3 hours, you can see here. But essay is 250 marks. Paper 2 is General Studies 1, 250 marks. Paper 3 is General Studies 2, 250 marks. Paper 4 is General Studies 3, 250 marks. Then paper 5, General Studies paper 4, 250 marks. Paper 6 and 7 are optional, paper 1 and paper 2, 250 marks each. Let's see the syllabus of these papers in details. In General Studies paper 1, the topics covered are Indian culture, Indian history, world history, Indian geography, world geography and Indian society. So basically this is a paper of history combined with geography and society. So all these topics are covered in General Studies paper 1. General Studies paper 2 is your governance, Indian polity, Indian constitution, social justice, international relation and role of civil services. Basically the topics related to polity and in a broader sense will be covered in General Studies paper 2. Then General Studies paper 3, Indian economy, technology, biodiversity, environment, security and disaster management. All these topics will be covered under your General Studies paper 3. Then comes the General Studies paper 4, which will be basically based on ethics, integrity, aptitude, your emotional intelligence, thinkers and philosophers, and probity in governments. So these are the 4 papers of General Studies and their syllabus subject-wise. Let's see what are the optional UPSC gives us for that 6 and paper 7, optional paper 1 and optional paper 2. So the subjects available are your agriculture, animal husbandry and veterinary science, anthropology, botany, chemistry, civil engineering, commerce and accountancy, economics, electrical engineering, Geography, geology, history, law, management, mathematics, mechanical engineering, medical science, philosophy, physics. Can you see there's a huge variety of subjects, very vast subjects available. So you may have interest in geology or you may be having interest in agriculture. So you can take any subject you want. Then political science and international relations, psychology, public administration, sociology, statistics and zoology. You can choose one subject and you have to give two papers based on that one subject. Let's move further and see the structure of language paper. We saw that there is a language paper we have to choose. So the language paper will comprise of an essay. You have to write an essay, then reading comprehension and precise writing, translation, and grammar and basic language usage. And the translation, there will be two types of translation. First will be English to the compulsory language, and the second will be from your compulsory language to English. For example, if you have chosen Hindi as your language, then first will be your English to Hindi, then the second one will be from Hindi to English. So this type of translation will come. Moving further, the subject of language papers, which language you can choose. So again, a list of languages you can choose from: Assamese, Bengali, Bodo, Dogri, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmiri, Konkani, Maithili, Malayalam, Manipuri, Marathi, Nepali, Odia, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Santhali, Sindhi, Tamil, Telugu, Urdu, English. Variety of languages available. You may choose it as per your interest. Then IS interview, UPSC personality test. You have cleared your means, you have cleared your prelims, you have written your mains, and then you will be called for an interview. The candidates who qualify the UPSC mains examination will be called for personality test, and these candidates will be interviewed by a board appointed by UPSC. The objective of the interview is to assess the personal suitability of the candidate for the career of civil services by a board competent and unbiased observers. They will see, is your personality suitable for this service or not? And this is a very unbiased interview, no biasness or no favors they can give. They don't generally know you also. The interview is more of a purposive conversation intended to explore the mental qualities and analytical ability of the candidate. That is, they will observe your mental qualities, your nature, your thinking, your analytical ability, how you will behave in a particular situation. So the interview will be of 275 marks, as I told you earlier, and the total marks for the written examination are 1750, because two papers of 300 and other papers of 250 marks, which adds up to 2025, and based on that the merit list will be made. And if you clear the cutoff, you are a civil servant. Moving further, how do you crack this exam? How to prepare, how to start with the preparation? First of all, you need to be focused. You need to have a strategy, well organized strategy, that I will be going for the preparation for like 1 year like this. That first I will read my NCRTs, then I will complete my reference books, then I will revise in such a manner, and day wise planning also, that 3 hours I will give to newspaper and note making, and then 3 hours I will study history today, 3 hours I will study geography today. So you have to make a well organized strategy for the next year before your prelims, mains and interview. Then syllabus reading is very important. Syllabus reading is important because you need to know the topics in the syllabus. You don't have to read everything under the sun. Just read the syllabus and then read the topics given by UPSC, which you are supposed to read. You don't have to read everything under the sun, every reference book or every book anybody tells you this is very important of UPSC. No, you don't have to do that. You just stick by your syllabus, keep the syllabus in hand always, and just check before reading any book, is this really important for my preparation? Then study that book. Otherwise, just ignore it. Don't miss out on current affairs, as you saw that there may be high as 30 questions and less as 10 questions from current affair, and then science and tech section of yours is again related to your current affairs. So you cannot miss this section. So you have to read your newspaper every day. You have to make your current affairs notes for your better revision and easy revision in the end of the before the time period your exam is just on the way. So it is very, very important for you to study current affairs. Do not miss it. This is very important. Then writing practice. This is very important for your mains examination, as mains is a descriptive type of examination. So you will have to write answer. You should know the schemes related to a particular topic so that you can incorporate in your answer. You should know the current developments related to a topic so that you make your answer more better and more presentable, and you can express your knowledge through your answers. Then you should prioritize the compulsory subject. For example, you know that the polity will have 20 questions. Current affairs will have 30 questions. Geography will have 10 questions. So prioritize them, that I will finish the maximum number of questions covered in this subject. I will finish them, then I will revise them again and again so that you know at least 50 questions in the paper you will do right. You don't make mistakes on them. Choose the right optional. You know there are two papers related to your optional, and you need to choose your optional very wisely. Why? Because two papers, 250, 250 each, it will be 500 marks out of your 1750. So, huge amount. So, if you lose on your optional, you don't do well in your optional subject, you may be kicked out of the merit list. So, it's very important to choose a subject which you really like, which you will not be bored while studying. You understand it well, and you can write and relate and analyze things in that subject. So, you choose your optional correctly. Solving mock papers is very important. Once you have studied a subject, for example, you completed geography, then buy a mock series and give the papers of geography. For that, what happens with mock series is that if you say you have given 30 questions wrong out of 100, so you will know that these 30 topics or these 13 options in a question, option A, option B, these are wrongs. Why I did not get these questions right? So you will go back to those topic, read that topic again, make your concepts clear so that you don't make that mistakes in exam. Mock test give you the chance to make mistakes before your exams and not in your exam. Then revision is must. You must revise whatever you studied before your exam, because if you don't revise, it is like you have studied and wasted your time, because in the exam you will be thinking, I have read it somewhere but I don't remember what it was exactly. So you may end up in marking the wrong option in your prelims, and you may end up writing bad answer for your optional. Stay calm. You don't have to panic that this is such a big exam or something. No, if you study, you will clear. So you don't have to panic in this exam. You just have to stay focused and study. So this was all about the UPSC and UPSC preparation. I hope this session was helpful for you for understanding the basics of UPSC and how you should go for the UPSC examinations. That's it for this video. Thank you.